Hi guys, it's Jean from Happy Indulgence and I'm back for another monthly recap. So in February I read 7 books. It would have been 8 but I did not finish one of those books. In this video I'm going to talk about what I thought about these 7 books. So it was a pretty good month. I gave most books 3 or 4 stars except for that last one that I did not finish. So the first book I'm going to talk about is the Diabolical Miss Hyde. So it's set in steampunk London. It's an alternate London where Jekyll and Hyde has a daughter, and the daughter is Dr. Eliza Jekyll. And she also has a darker side to her, which is Lizzie. Lizzie's like really feisty and impulsive, and she's brave and she's not afraid to go for what she wants. Whereas Eliza's more restrained, she's uppity, she's a crime scene investigator, and you know, she's all about the intelligence and the analytical side of things. So having both characters in one person was really interesting. They're trying to solve murder mysteries across London. I really enjoyed this one. Like, it was an unexpected discovery. I wouldn't normally have picked this up, but I love the steampunk elements, the murder mystery in it, and the paranormal parts were totally up my alley. The characters were fantastic and there was a really steamy romance. I gave it 4 stars. So I've talked about this next book a lot, Lady Helen and the Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. It took me a while to get to. I even stopped reading it when I was nearly halfway, but I kept on persisting after my co-bloggers Gena and Isla said they really enjoyed it. The start of it was really slow. It describes all the intricacies and the details of the restrained Regency era. But then what really put me off this book initially was these weird tentacle sections. Basically you've got deceivers with 3 tentacles that come out of their heads, and then they pretty much suck people's life force in public without anyone knowing. That was really interesting, but it was also strangely sexual. And anyway, I pushed through and I ended up really enjoying Helen's character and the comedic aspect of this book. I gave it 4 stars and you can check out my review on Happy Indulgence. The other 4-star book I read was My Sister Rosa by Justine Larbalestier. This book is another Aussie YA read and I loved it because it was about psychopaths, and I kind of love those disturbing thrillers. I think our Aussie authors do them really well. So in this one, Che has a 10-year-old sister who he believes is a psychopath, and she's really creepy, guys. It's like she's always calculating the best thing to do and the right thing to say to get her way. She's really charming, she's manipulative, she has no empathy, and she's really cold at times. And the only person she can confide in is Che, and he takes out all his anger in boxing, and that was another interesting aspect as well. It talks about psychopaths and nature versus nurture, whether it's passed down through genes, and how there's probably a high likelihood of psychopaths in your everyday life. That's what I found really creepy about My Sister Rosa. It doesn't have a particularly strong plot, but I like that it really delved deep into psychopaths, as opposed to just presenting them as, you know, cold murderers. So that was interesting. I gave this one 4 stars and I'll be reviewing it soon. Haven't got it with me, but I also read Akane, and this is a sequel, Viola, by Lynette Noni. It's another Aussie YA fantasy. I really enjoyed Akane because it was a cross between X-Men, Harry Potter and Narnia. So Alex, this girl, walks into a portal and then she finds this brand new world. It's like a magical school and everyone has abilities. So she's learning more about the world and about herself. I found her really snarky. She has some hilarious banter with everyone. She's a bit of a special snowflake though, which is a bit concerning, and sometimes the plot was a bit too confused with too much happening. But I ended up giving this 3.5 stars and I'm looking forward to starting Raella. So pick that one up, guys. For the blog tour, I also read Strings by David Estes, who is one of my favourite indie authors. And Strings is a Pinocchio retelling. So is set in a futuristic sort of world. So there's this girl and she's bound by these metallic strings and she can't move. It's like she has no freedom. These strings basically are attached to her, and sometimes they punish her for doing things. Sometimes they constrict her. And other times you won't even know that the strings are there. I found this concept really creepy because you just couldn't imagine not having your freedom, and that's what she goes through. It's a psychological thriller, so it really frustrated me at times, especially when all these things would keep happening to her and you'll get little clues thrown at her here and there, and she'll make friends and have conversations, but you know there's just something not quite right. And that's what Strings is. It's really creepy, and it gets even darker as the secret's revealed, and I just found it really disturbing. I like those kind of reads, but I thought the ending was quite rushed as well. It's definitely darker than David's other books. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I know everyone raves about Passenger, and I felt like there was a lot of hype surrounding it. It's a time travel read, there's different eras that are explored, and there's also a pirate ship and a great romance between Etta and Nicholas. I found it really slow and the pacing was a bit off though, so that's why I only gave it 3 stars. I loved the time travel and how it was explained. Like, there's portals between worlds and only people with that ability can use it. So you have to find these portals in order to go to different places in time. The other thing is that if you travel on, let's say, September the 1st in 1957, it will only go to September the 1st in that particular year. That was an interesting concept as well because it places some restrictions around people who can time travel. I mean, time travelers are powerful, but they're not invincible. I also like the historical accounts of each era and how it really described the political and the religious and social makeup of each of these places. It was really interesting, but then on the other hand, I felt Etta and Nicholas's journey was a bit diluted. They have a time limit to look for an ancient artifact for one of the evil factions, but instead, they spend half of the time kissing and falling in love and traveling different places randomly without thinking of their mission. And I'm like, come on guys, please stop kissing and please start moving along. Whether you like this book will be based on how much you connect with the characters and the romance. I didn't really connect with the characters too much, but I know others did. So in the end, the 3 stars is well deserved, and I look forward to reading the sequel. Now, with all these fantasy and emotionally heavy reads, I needed a light, fluffy contemporary. So I picked up P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. This is a sequel to All the Boys I've Loved, where Lara Jean writes letters to these boys that she's had crushes on, and those letters are accidentally sent. Now, Lara Jean feels a bit older here, and it seems like she's come a long way in maturing since the first book. I kind of liked how Peter and Lara Jean didn't have a perfect relationship. They went through misunderstandings, they went through communication issues, and I found that realistic. But my main thing here was I didn't like Peter by the end of the book because of the decisions that he ended up making and how he stands by someone who keeps on hurting Lara Jean. And in the end, I just thought she was better off. Anyway, I still enjoyed the light read, and it was 3 stars for me. Now, you're probably dying to know which book I did not finish, but that was Firstlife by Gena Showalter. This book I was really looking forward to because it's about alternate realities. Basically, you live 2 lives. The first one is like a test run, and after you die, you get a second life. There's 2 factions who have different theories about what happens when you die after the second life. Troika and Myriad are constantly fighting over Tenley, the main character in this book who's in an asylum. They're basically torturing her, they get people to convince her to join their faction, and you never really know why they're putting all these resources and effort into getting her to sign up. And the other annoying thing is that you never really know why she chooses not to. Instead, she chooses torture and she chooses to drag the story along. I got to 50% and I just couldn't take it anymore. These were the books that I read during February. Most of them were 3 and 4 stars, and I hope you end up finding a book that you like. So thanks for watching another wrap-up video with me, guys, and if you liked it, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!